Hello, welcome to my MyWebUniversity Free Education videos. I'm going to share my screen and then from there we can start off with this session today. Let's just share the screen first. As you can see on my screen, I have already logged on a Linux Ubuntu server, which is hosted in Germany and in the cloud. And I run the command figlet here to just tell you, welcome to my MyWebUniversity Free Education videos. This -C-F, the font option standard, is just making this font in a nice format here. You can change it to any format you want, basically. There's another video that I have, let's say if I just want to change it to script, and then you can see that it prints out in the script format this information. But if the text is huge, then you just have to move up and down to just see the entire screen. So let me clear my screen here and then just put the standard one so you can see it. And then in today's topic, I prepared some discussion for chapter 4, the advanced Linux and Unix operating system command lines. So on this one, basically I have a website. If I go to the main, let me just make this screen kind of like a slideshow so we can go quickly over this session, what I'm going to discuss and what you should be expecting to and just show up. On the website, when you log in, basically on mywebuniversity.com, on this website, basically you will be having an interface and that you can learn the Linux Ubuntu. I have written this book called The Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu. It's all online. All you need is a browser and internet access. You don't need a VirtualBox, you don't need a VM, you don't need Docker, you don't need any containers, you don't need any software, but all you need is a browser and internet access. And the browser is your favorite browser. And internet access, as fast as it is, the better it will just produce you the result. So the website is fast, YouTube is fast. I have put a lot of videos, more than 125 videos for you, whether the videos are basically on this web site, MyWebUniversity Free Education video YouTube website. The YouTube website, if you go and search for MyWebUniversity Free Education videos, you will be presented with my channel with all the details of the channels, and then you can watch them and enjoy them there. And I have basically this right part here that I'm showing you, basically that the science of digital transformation of data. This is basically, as you can see, the data that gets filtered out in the pipe, and somehow we are going to just produce zeros and ones, which are binary numbers. But software is nothing but just binaries and zeros and ones, and source code, and then the actual, whether it's binary or source code or HTML or Java or C++, eventually is going to be written on the computer registers and CPU. Computation is done on the central processing unit, and that's going to be producing these zeros and one at the register in arithmetic logic units. So when the computation is carried out, basically it will produce sounds, graphic, images, audio, video, everything in that BC. But on the bottom level is bits of zeros and ones. This is what data science is all about, and the data science with Python programming and some modules, which I'm going to be discussing in some other books for Python, that I'm going to be also producing you those kind of videos, and then you will be learning Python as well as the modules that are related with data science for Python. So technical documentation, I have about maybe 60,000 technical documentation for Unix and Linux manual pages, as well as Windows help and Windows PowerShell. So if you go to my website on this link, basically it just takes you there, and then you just start learning. I did not write the Unix and Linux manual pages, neither I wrote the Unix Linux manual pages, nor the Windows and help or Windows PowerShell. But I wrote some Python program that generated those 60,000 technical documentation and formatted with JSON and all those kind of details of XML and HTML and CS3 to just give you a very nice interface so you can get the technical documentation at any time. This last page that I'm showing here, search for any Linux, Unix manual pages. Basically, it is a Python program that I wrote for MyWebUniversity.com, and I just have it available. So any developers are welcome to just come in and learn Linux, Ubuntu especially, and that and just getting any manual pages, any commands that you're searching on a Unix machine. You don't need a Unix machine to just learn, or a Linux machine to learn. You just go on a browser and use my website and the interface I built it using a Python program on the web. It is all online. All you need is a browser and internet access, and go to chapter 7 of my book, which is showing you all these details. So if I go here, there's about 7 chapters on currently on the book. I'm still adding more chapters for the book. Like for example, I would add for Python programming, I would add how you do C, C++ on Ubuntu Linux, how to compile it, how to run interpreters, how to do utilities, make and other stuff. Some of them are already on the website, like for example, Apache web server and everything else. So you can do these ones. On chapter 1, and which is basically, if I go on this one, chapter 1 is introduction to Unix, and I have provided you links and documentation that are either at Google or at MyWebUniversity. Technical documentation or for Sun Microsystem at Oracle website, and then the invention of Unix, which was done by Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson back in the 1969, that they come up with the first version of Unix, which was at AT&T Laboratory, and then that was the AT&T version. And then we're going to also talk about chapter 2, which is basic Unix and Linux commands. I have already provided the basic Unix and Linux commands in terms of one chapter covering about 33 commands here that are listed. You could just click on any of these commands and you will get an option of what is the command, and the manual pages for the command, and then examples that I'm showing you how to do it. And again, for the book, it is all online. All these commands that I'm listing, you can also practice it on my website, which the interface that I wrote it on Python and Perl a long time ago. And then now it is all converted or kind of upgraded to Python code that is just basically providing you this command line syntax that you can practice it using a browser. You don't need, again, a shell connection like Bash or Corn shell to log into the server. And you don't need a server, you don't need a virtual box, you don't need anything. All you need is a browser. You log in and click on the banner like as if you're sitting in front of your Windows machine on a browser, and you're able to execute Unix machine or Linux commands, and then you can get the output. And I will demo some of them if you want to, but there's a lot of videos that I have already posted. You're welcome to go do these videos, and chapter 2 is already done. Chapter 3 is already done. Chapter 3 is intermediate level, so when you learn these ones, Again, for these ones, I'm just in addition to the 33 commands, I'm giving like 4 or 5 or 6 examples on each one of them. So for chapter 2 is more than 50 commands that you will learn with examples, and for chapters 3 is more than 70 actually. It's not 33 because sometimes I jump in to other commands. In chapter 4, which is advanced Unix and Linux commands, on this chapter you will learn a lot of neat stuff with system administrator level, for example, how to use add a user or account, how to delete them, how to modify them, how to add groups and modify and delete them. And then there's commands that are just a system administrator level at the different levels, and that with the proc file system that you would be doing it. For each of these chapter, because this 88, and then some of them I have been showing you more than 20 different examples, so you get a very good grasp of grip of these commands, and then just learn it and memorize it and understand it, and then use it at your development machine or sandbox. And then once you're well once you are knowledgeable about it, and you just kind of like, well, you have pretty confident that confidence is coming to you, and you just kind of like, well, I can do it. It's just I have done it on the development, I have done it on the test, but before I do the production, let me just double check on the manual pages to make sure that the same command works on the production as well. You have to be very careful with some of these commands when you're doing it, as especially as root. If you don't know the command, please don't try it, because sometimes the commands could just harm your system or my user account or something. If you're just doing certain things as an admin, you have to be responsible for the command that you're typing in, and then understanding the command and executing it on a development machine, even not forget about the production. So you just have to watch for it, make sure that you're doing it, but don't be afraid to try things, at least on a local machine, on a development machine. Run the memorize the commands, practice it, look at online pages, look at videos that is on YouTube, look at my videos. We are giving you a lot of examples, and hopefully you will be great doing it. And then the idea is just to help you support yourself and support your family, and become a very great asset in the community that you are living there. We all need to just at some point help each other, and then we cannot just say, well, I know this information and I'm just keeping it to myself. That's not good. Knowledge is power, but if you keep the information to your self, sometimes you will become powerless because you cannot share it. And sharing is caring, and when you share it, basically you become more powerful. And then as a result, we need to just help others because we're just having a short life, and we need to be, taking care of each other, help as much as possible other people's. So, and this is chapter 4 and the first 11, which would be covered on a video separately. So 11 chapters, because there's 11 of them, and some of them, as I mentioned, I'm giving like more than 20 different examples. I just like to make sure that if I cover even 5, 11 times 5 is 55 commands and examples. So that's not going to be easy to just do it in one video, 88 of them. This is the second one. And then I'm going through this one just a little bit faster now, because each of these 11 would be covered by itself. So on this section, we could cover like curl, for example, or hostname CTL. And then on this one, PS3, process 3, and then PLDD, process the link and dynamic libraries and that are there. So PWD is print working directory of executable. SCSI drive, and TAR tape archive. LDD is the to find out the shared object, the dynamic link libraries. The Unix version of dynamic link library is called .so, .shared object, and .sa for static object. The shared objects are much faster and better because you're sharing it. Again, sharing is caring. If you write a library and have 10 functions, one of the functions is print, you want to have that one loaded in memory once the print statement. Otherwise, when 1,000 people print it, and then if it is a static function, it will not be shared properly, because every file, every function, the content of that function has to be loaded into memory. And as a result, 1,000 times is not good, because somebody prints a file 1,000 times, or 100 people are logging into the system using that function. But if it is shared, it will load once, and all that happens is the parameters are passed, the name of the file and other things that are different. So we will discuss all of those one, the GNU debugger, the DD command, and the save core, all of that one we will discuss. netstat command, iostat, vmstat, SAR, system activity report, cron jobs, free, and other ones, mpstat. So we will discuss a lot of those. The GNU core, gcore, RPM, Red Hat package manager, pkill, list of open files, expression, screen, ELF. And then expression, actually the command is in lowercase, expr. So there's a typo there. I could just change it to expr as lowercase. But when you actually click on the program, it will work, because the underlying software in Python and shell scripting and command lines, everything is running the actual command that I'm just asking it to do based on the parameters that are passed. And chapter 5 is going to talk about Unix and Linux shell scripting. So I will demonstrate some of those chapters. Chapter 5 with shell scripting, we will discuss what is a if statement, for statement, while statement, how to use them, how to pass in parameters to them, and so on. The direct path to Linux Ubuntu is the actual book that cover all these chapters. And on this one, because originally I had started on a Solaris machine, a Solaris x86 VM, and that was running on a virtual machine. And then at some point, I decided to just run the same software on Linux. And I wrote the book and the direct path to Linux Ubuntu, because Solaris is unfortunately even though it's a really best operating system, I'm certified with it since 2003. And then it is an operating system that has so many functionalities that you can name off on Unix platform. And it has like a proc file system that is kind of unbeatable in any Unix or Linux-like operating system. It has ZFS, zettabyte file system. It has dynamic tracing. The shells and the command lines, everything is great. But because Oracle just wanted to just not support the x86 version as much in terms of the VMs, and they just were not producing as many development environments for like Python and all related packages that you need for all the application in order for your operating system to run. The developers were keep developing on a Linux environment, and Linux, Red Hat, CentOS, and Rocky now, and then Ubuntu, and all these Debian versions. Developers were producing a lot of software, but since the application related packages were a little bit staying old on the VM side, it was not supported because as of whatever reason internally that was going on with Oracle purchasing Sun. And then at some point, Oracle shift the gear towards Oracle virtual machines, or OVM, and that is doing pretty well. But it's all Linux, and x86 is also on there, and then there's Solaris on the Spark architecture 11 is really great. I have been doing it really extensively work on those ones for a number of years. But the reason I just stopped building the documentation for the Python and other tools, that I wanted to just get the latest version of Python, the one that was on the x86, the latest one was 3.5, I believe, or 3.6. And then that was not moving forward, was not feasible. And the main reason for me is my Solaris machine was just running on x86 machine that was hosted at home. So I did not have the internet to make it public. And then a static IP address was needed. And then if I just was looking for a web hosting company to provide that Solaris machine, there wasn't much. There was really, really hard to just find a Solaris web server. So as a result, I just built the Linux Ubuntu on an Ubuntu server, and I'm very happy with it. And I have documented everything, and I'm just shooting towards that target, and hopefully we will get a lot of it. So the chapter 6, some of the commands that I'm showing you, like package info -- license, this package command pkg is actually a Solaris command, not a Linux. So I wrote here that Apache on a Unix and Solaris. Even though we're discussing the Linux, but from Linux, we could jump in to talk about Unix as well and show some of the other comparison between the Unix and Linux. So this chapter is somehow as a comparison, but because I'm installing Apache 2.2, 2.2.6, I believe it is, and then Apache is open source. So it does not matter whether you run it on Solaris or Windows or Linux or Mac. Apache is Apache. When you build it from source code and compile it, you will get it on that operating system, and you are able to run the Apache CTL command, httpd-v and -l, get the list of modules and compile other modules and do it. And I have done a lot of Apache build and everything. So I have pretty good knowledge about those ones as well. And then this is the chapter 7 that I was telling you, that you can have any Linux commands. You just type in the Linux command and you get the output of it. So the man pages for it, the manual pages. This is about maybe if Linux Ubuntu has some 7,000 technical documentation, you can get all of them just by typing the command name, whether you get it from one environment, the other ones. And this one is just a summary of chapter 4, which I was going to discuss, but I went through in this discussion because I want to see how the video and audio is working. Somehow I was getting a lot of noises on the background with when I was typing the keyboard. So I did not type on any keyboard, and I used this PDF files to just show you what is going to come there. And then now I'm done. I'm going to just go ahead as a last resort on this last one. I'm going to just type in uname -a and then clear screen and then say cat etc os-release. This is my Ubuntu server that is running in Linux, and then df-h. So at this time, some of the users on chapter 4 I could discuss also. And I'm going to go to MyWebUniversity.com now, because what we show you on the PDF file is a little bit different than what we are doing it on the actual website. So the actual website comes in like this, MyWebUniversity.com, and I have all these videos, free education videos on YouTube that you are welcome to click and just subscribe and enjoy learning it. And then the books are on C, C++, Python, Perl, programming, regular expression, C shell, bash, corn shell, and then name it. It's there for you. Apache web server, MySQL database, and there's a lot of videos there that I posted. And these are the 4 chapters that we were talking about. And just so this is all the same as the PDF file, and basically you have kind of arrows to go to next or previous or home page. So if I go on the next page for this one, the preface comes in. And this is the reason I just built this website was for my dear brother, Dr. Haman al-Lutfi. He was basically the sunshine of our life. He just kind of took care of us when we needed help and inspired us all our life. And he was the inspiration of our life. Basically, he was a cardiologist at Kaiser permanently. And he helped the community and everybody. This is the time that I was getting my master's degree in. Sorry. I was getting my master's degree in computer science, and he was congratulating me. God bless him. He's in the best place. I just don't believe he's not with us anymore. Last year, 2001, in January, passed away. And I'm sure he's in best place in paradise. He took care of so many people and everything. So I'm going to go to chapter 1, the preface, and this one, we talked about it. And then if you go to this link, and Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson picture will show up. And you can see that basically it is the two pioneers of the AT&T version of Bell Laboratory. This is Dennis Ritchie, God bless him, he passed away also. He was a nobleman as well. And then Ken Thompson is, thank God he's alive and he is still working and maybe retired. But he was writing the, Dennis Ritchie was the C++, C programming language pioneer. And then Ken Thompson was writing the GNU version of utilities with Dennis Ritchie, which was like set, ed, ed, awk, grep, egrep, fastgrep, all those things that was just started off with these two pioneer. And here's Dennis Ritchie was getting the Nobel Prize award in there. So you can see them there. So you can read the details here. And then if I could show you also on the website, I said that I have this manual pages, technical documentation on manual pages. So this is about 60,000 technical documentation that I was referring to you about the Mac OS X, Linux, Solaris, Windows, and Windows PowerShell. So for example, if I click on the man pages for the Solaris, we get about 13,000 technical documentation on this page. And then each of these pages are basically huge. It goes on. And you can just click on any of them and get the man page for that command. And here's the manual pages for it. So similarly, you can get these commands on in sorting order by alphabetical. If you go on the page and you just say, I need to just know exactly what I'm looking for. So you could just say, I'm looking for P for Python. And so I'm looking for like P and Python, and then I'm looking at on Solaris or Linux, and you just click on that section. And then for example, P for Python here, and then you could just type in the command and then search it. So you can do Control F here also, and then type in Python, and then Python 2, for example, the man pages is there, and then you go there. Python 2 is deprecated, so that's why I wrote this other book, this other kind of documentation on chapter 7. So on this one, actually, you will see Windows, PowerShell, and other ones. So I want to just show you before I jump into chapter 7. On the PowerShell commands, you could get Windows PowerShell commands. But unfortunately, these are static pages, static HTML pages, not dynamic. The reason they are static is because I don't have 5 or 6 different web server, that is one running on Windows platform, one running on Mac, one on Linux, one on Solaris, one on Ubuntu, in order to just generate them dynamically. But on the contrary, I have the documentation on the chapter 7. So if I go to my book again, and then just go on chapter 7, I could type in the command and the URL, and it's faster, but I want to just guide you through the documentation. So like you could see this chapter 7, search for any Linux manual pages dynamically. So here you could type in the command name, and then you get the output. For example, if you're typing for command name, let's say banner, and let's just forget about banner, is not like a real command. So we could do a pgrep, and then you could see the output is coming here with pgrep here. And then some of the related commands is also coming on the see also section. And then the see also, you see it's going to give you regular expression, kill all, signal, and then this and that. And then I'm just telling you how to use the command and where to read the manual pages with see also section on the bottom. So that way, once you understand that command, you can just say, well, I understood that one. Now let's say, what is the kill command? Kill -9 will terminate the process, and then and just kill by itself is level 5. 15 is running option signal 15 that is terminate with gracefully. Kill -1 is a net level that is going to just hop level, sorry, HUP. Kill -1 will just say gracefully, will shut down the process and then restart them. And so there's command like, for example, pkill, process kill. You could do all of these commands, or if you want to say, for example, for printf command. Printf command, there's section 1, which is the actual Linux command, and then there's section 3 -S3, and then printf statement. So if you do -S3 printf statement, that's a standard IO.h library part of it, and printf is a function that you're writing in C and C++ to do it. So if I just do a -S section 1 of printf, I'm getting the man pages of this. So this program that I wrote is very intuitive in terms of understanding what parameter you're passing it and what arguments, and I'm parsing this query string into the Python program, and then I just make it in a nice format here that you can just read the whole thing. So as an example of the printf section 1, if you look at it, for example, let's just do this statement here. I'm going to just say something here, say printf, and then say welcome to, and then say %s, and then I'm going to just space, and then say %s again, and then I say the first string is MyWebUniversity, .com is not there because I'm going to put free educational videos in the next one. So I'm going to say comma, and then free educational videos. This is my YouTube channel. So if you just say that one, it is going to produce you the same output there. %s in this case is saying that printf statement requires a string, and the first string is MyWebUniversity, the second string is free education videos. So, and then you can also do this kind of programming on a bash shell script, for example. You could just say export, let's say w is equal welcome to. So you get that the string, and then put a space here, and that would also add the space there, and then say, let's say education E is equal, and then we put free educational videos, and then we just do that one. So now all I have to say is printf, and then instead of welcome, I just type in %s here, and then a space %s for the next one, and then I could just say comma $. W was the first one, so I want to just make sure that the data is getting the value of it. $, that's why I put it on braces in case if I have any spaces or anything, I want to make sure that the word is coming out properly. So E is the next one, and then it just says the same thing. Welcome to free education videos, and then now I don't need those commas, as you can see. So I could just do this one and then get rid of this comma and then say this, but there's a space and that I need between them. So I could just type in here, and then that would give me the space. And then for the welcome to, then there's free. So the free welcome to echo $W, you can see $uppercase W, and then echo $E is giving me that. So when I type in echo and $W, $E will also say the same thing there. But if I wanted with a nice format with using printf statement, then I can use here /n to just produce it in a way that I want to print those spaces. So after the statement, I want to put 2 line space, I could do that one. But here, I don't need this code here. And then I could just say the 2 characters there. And I could just also put this one within the code, and then just get that information. So that is parsing the passing the argument of the $W and $E. And then if I want to just tab for some reason here, which I don't, and instead of this, I could do 2 tabs, and then it will just tab it for me. Similarly, on the echo command, you could do that. So we're not going to practice that. I just wanted to show some banner commands. I mean, banner is really nice thing. So you could say, welcome. And then you could say, for example, banner, love, and peace for all. So you can see that that is coming here, love and peace for all. And then what other things that you could do is type in 5 more here. Love comes in and peace, and then for all, and you could just see it and there. So let's just do clear screen and say echo coming up. Chapter 4 will be discussed. Please don't forget to subscribe. And so echo, and then we say my web university free educational videos. That's our channel. So please subscribe. And on chapter 4, I'll cover a lot more in details. This was just an introduction to the website, so you understand what is going to come up for you. Chapter 2 and 3 is already, and there's a video for it. I'll start on chapter 4 and then cover each of those 11 commands. As long as you guys are watching the videos and I see that people are subscribing, I'll make more videos for you, and then based on your needs. Please don't forget to subscribe and like, and then that way I know what your needs are, and then make comments. Thank you. Have a nice one. Love and peace for all. Take care.